Hello, Anonymous Diaries family. Good to have you here again. I'm Evelyn, your host for tonight. Tonight's story is about a door slamming shut only for another to swing wide open. Our narrator was kicked out of her home by her husband over a small misunderstanding. Just as she began to lose hope, her wealthy ex-boyfriend returned from abroad, fully prepared to give her and her children the world. Now, her husband is begging for a second chance, but her life has already started moving in a new direction. It's a story about pride, timing, and a decision that will define her future. As always, this story is a recreation to protect the privacy of the real individuals involved. Before we listen to our narrator, kindly like the video and click the subscribe button to encourage us to keep posting. Thank you. Now, let's hear her.
My name is Amaka. Just a month ago, I was a wife. Now, I don't even know what to call myself. I feel lost, like I've been cut loose with no direction, stuck between two difficult choices and scared of making the wrong move. My life feels out of my hands, shaped by one man's pride and another's refusal to give up. The fight that ruined my marriage started over something so small, it's almost funny. My husband, David, was meant to pick up our two kids from school. Since he works from home as a freelance designer, he has a flexible schedule. But that day, he took a nap and completely missed the pickup time. I was stuck in traffic, returning from the market, when the headmistress called, clearly upset. I had to pay a late fee and listen to a long lecture about being a responsible parent. When I got home, I was really frustrated. I said, "David, how could you forget the kids?" My voice wasn't angry, just tired. This is the second time this month. Something in him snapped. It wasn't about the children, it was about his pride. "Are you calling me irresponsible?" He shot back, his voice rising. "After everything I do for this family, you don't respect me," he shouted. The argument kept going in circles, getting more heated for no real reason. Then suddenly, he stood up, his face hard and angry, and said the words that broke my heart. "I need space. You should leave the house for a while. I want to be alone." I stared at him, stunned. "Leave your house? David, what are you saying? Over this?" "Yes, pack a bag, go to your mother's place." At first, I refused to take the children. Let him see how he likes being alone with them, I thought. But he insisted. "They are your responsibility. You will go with them." The finality in his voice was chilling. So, I packed a small bag for myself and the kids, my hands trembling with a mixture of anger and humiliation. As I walked out the door, our 5-year-old son asked, "Mommy, where are we going on holiday?" I couldn't answer. The first 2 weeks at my mother's house in Ageje were very hard. I called David every day, but he never answered. I sent him messages saying the kids missed him and that I missed him too, but he didn't reply. The silence was painful. He even told his friends and family that we were done, that I had disrespected him and left. The shame felt unbearable. Seeing how much I was hurting, my mother told me, "Go back and beg your husband, Amaka. This is how you keep a home." So, I did. I took the children and went back to the house I had shared with him for 6 years. I stood at the gate and knocked. I could see him through the window watching television. He saw me and he didn't move. I knocked again, louder this time, the children getting restless beside me. He never opened the gate. He left his wife and his children standing outside like beggars. That was the moment my hope began to curdle into something else. Just as that hope was dying, a ghost from my past reappeared, my ex-boyfriend, Daniel. We had dated for years before he relocated to Canada. He had always wanted me back, but I had chosen David. I had chosen a life here. Now Daniel was back in Nigeria for business, and he heard about my situation. He called me and we met for coffee. Seeing him was like a breath of fresh air. He listened. He was horrified by David's behavior. A man who can do that to you and his own children is not a man, Amaka. he said, his voice firm. He came fully prepared, not just with words, but with action. He saw the cramped conditions at my mother's house and the sadness in my children's eyes. The next day, he paid for a beautiful new 2-bedroom apartment for us in a quiet estate. He took me shopping and filled the fridge. He took the kids to a better school and paid their fees for the entire school year. He was present, he was kind, he was everything David had refused to be. He looked at me one evening and said, "I told you I would never take you for granted again. I am here to prove it." And I started falling for him deeply. The daily calls to David stopped, the begging ended. I was slowly building a new life, a safer life with Daniel. Of course, that was when David noticed I was gone. Suddenly, my phone was ringing off the hook. His messages became a flood of apologies and pleas. "I was wrong, my love. My pride was foolish. Please come home." He showed up at my mother's house, but Daniel was there with me. My ex begged me not to even speak to him. "Don't go back to a man who threw you away, Amaka. You deserve better." My mother, who once had told me to go back and beg, saw the life Daniel was offering and sent David away, warning him to stay away from me. Now, my life is a confusing whirlwind. Daniel has made international passports for me and the kids. He wants me to file for divorce from David so he can marry me legally and we can all move to Canada together. He is a good man and I love him for how he has rescued me. But deep down, a part of my heart still aches. I never wanted my marriage to fail. David, despite his pride, was a good man in many ways. His messages are getting more desperate. He says he can't live without us. I am torn between two good men. One who threw me away but is begging to rebuild, and one who picked me up and has already built a new world for me. I wish my marriage had worked, but my heart is leaning towards the man who came for me when I had nothing. Please advise me. What should I do?
Thank you for sharing that incredibly complicated story. Our narrator is at a life-changing crossroads, having to choose between the man who broke her heart and the man who is trying to piece it back together. Now I turn it over to you, the Anonymous Diaries community, for your perspective. First, should she return to her husband, who kicked her out, but now seems remorseful? Or should she embrace a new, more secure future with her ex-boyfriend? And most importantly, what is the best and safest long-term choice, not just for her, but for her 2 young children? Share your advice with empathy in the comments below. Until next time, take care.